Ladies and gents. This is an update on the Defrauded Homeowners of America lawsuit. On January the 24th, 2018, there was a hearing. I don't know what happened at the hearing. I'm not really concerned, and you shouldn't be concerned what happened at the hearing. Initially, the judge said he was dismissing the case first because I could not represent the government pro se. Not representing the government pro se, representing the government as pay attention to the word, relator. That's right, a relator is not pro se. You see, this is a QTAM lawsuit, not a lawsuit in the regular sense. QTAM means that an individual comes representing the United States of America, an individual, not a group of individuals, an individual. This allows an individual to stand in as an attorney general, private attorney general. That's where the term comes from. So the judge dismissing the case, I guess he's trying to see where's we coming from. After receiving 150 pages worth of a lawsuit and the different categories of individuals who are incorporated into that lawsuit, oh, and wait a minute, hold on, don't you dare turn that dial. Ladies and gentlemen, did you know that, and we've known this, but I'm going to say it because somebody brought it back to my attention. I had forgotten about this since 2012. See, 2012 was a pivotal year because that's when a lot of research was being done. But that the banks actually destroy the original notes. And for your bank to keep the original note is very unusual. Hey, this is Star Trek: The Next Generation. I didn't really like this version of Star Trek, but it was okay. Anyway, the reason why that's important is because copies are inadmissible in court. You see, per the statutes and per the rules, the banks have to file what's called a loss, pay attention, loss of note claim. Now, when they file this loss of note document, and this is according to the UCC, which is what they're regulated by, when they put in the request or the notice for loss of note, they have to swear under penalty of perjury as to the reason why that note is no longer in their possession. Can't do that. Why can't they do that? Well, because when they destroy the note, there's only one reason for them destroying the note, because the note's been canceled. Now, see, that's a violation of the code because we've shown you the code, Title 7 CFR 1901.508. Okay, they can't destroy the note. They must return it to the borrower along with the deed, but they don't do this. Now, to make a long story short, what's going on with the banks and the courts and everything else is that the courts, their pensions are heavily invested in the system. Now remember, you have the fact that the government has said that all properties in the United States is owned by the government. That being the case, none of you should be losing in court. But nobody is bringing forth the argument, hey, the government says my property belongs to them. The banks don't have a claim on my property. Kind of understand what I'm saying? Give me 1 second. Got a problem. Houston, we have a problem. And that problem is me having to step over to the other side of the room. I apologize for having not the ability of putting you on pause because I had to rush over to something. But now that we know that the government owns the property, your argument in court should not be against the bank. It should be that the government has not been notified of this lawsuit. And the government must, pay attention, relinquish its title to the property, its rights to the property before the bank can proceed. It's going to take some of you a little time to get this. I cannot spend the time today. What's been going on is that I had to rethink things, how I would go about doing things. Right now, I have been running myself to death, trying to appease and accommodate everybody, and then take care of my own personal business. And I can't do that. No longer. I can't do it. Don't have the energy to do it any longer. So as of yesterday, I decided from now on, my day will begin at 8:30. Prior to 8:30, I'm doing no work, not sitting on a computer doing nothing. I don't care whose paperwork needs to be done. I don't care what time it needs to be done. 8:30 is when I start. I will end my day roughly about 6:30 every day. And I will not be taking the incoming calls that I've been taking because too much. There was a gentleman I did a consult with. This again is still the update for the Defrauded Homeowners of America lawsuit. I'll finish that in a second. But I did a consult with someone 2 days ago. We recorded the video, did it on Ring Central. Ring Central! Okay, it's a particular website and program that we have. And I did it on Ring Central, but the only thing about it, there was a glitch in the program. And so it didn't record. Well, that person and I talked for over an hour and 40 minutes in that originally scheduled 1 hour consult. I promised the individual that I would send him the recording. Well, I couldn't send him the recording because it didn't record. So I had to get up the following morning and record the session all over again without him being present, but going over the information that we went over and redoing it all over again. So that's basically 2 consults for the price of none, because we still have a second conversation that I agreed to have with him, as is my agreement with everybody I do a consult with. 1 consult, then an additional consult, absolutely free. A lot of time, a lot of stress, a lot of effort, because I wanted to make sure that that individual got what he paid for. Now, with the sake of the Defrauded Homeowners of America lawsuit, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to be doing again, Sitcom is who's filing the Defrauded Homeowners of America lawsuit. The Securities Investment Trust Commission. Okay, Sitcom is filing that lawsuit. Sitcom has acquired $1.6 million in debt. Now pay attention again. $1.6 million in debt. Because Sitcom has acquired $1.6 million in debt, eventually, after we try to collect on this debt, we will then be charging it off and we'll be crediting the accounts of each one of the individuals who signed up for the Defrauded Homeowners of America lawsuit. That's why we haven't taken any more people into that suit. Whether the courts allow this lawsuit to proceed or not, we go to appeal. We will be appealing whatever decision the court makes. This is not a game, okay? We were thinking, hey, they would just go ahead and settle, but they don't want to settle. Ladies and gentlemen, it's okay. We're going to be crediting your accounts as far as adding credit to the accounts of our clients, because we're setting ourselves up to be able to do that. So just be patient with us. This is not something that was originally part of the process, but it was something that I originally planned to do. This is just me letting you know that nobody on this planet will ever do any type of business with me and walk away unsatisfied. That's not the way things go. Okay, not only will we be crediting individuals' accounts, adding credit lines to their credit profiles as a result of their investment. Yeah, that's right, they made an investment. Okay, 0.0000001% investment. And that's a point in front of them zeros. But we'll be adding those lines to their credit, and we'll be going through with the lawsuit, and we'll still be keeping with the mandate as to the percentages that will come back at the end of the lawsuit. We do plan on settling, but again, that lawsuit was for greater than $400 million. Or excuse me, 400 billion with a B, billion. Okay? And we're still going to prosecute that lawsuit. I thought, and here's the unique thing, ladies and gentlemen, I've had attorneys look over the lawsuit, and not one of them could find anything practically that was out of line or incorrect. And how could they? I used the Attorney General's lawsuit and just added to it, which is why the judge had a hard time. The only thing the judge could point out was that you can't represent the government pro se. That was the one thing he said. You moron, nobody's representing the government pro se. Aren't you afraid he's going to listen to the bit? Look, ladies and gentlemen, again, that lawsuit was done to get us grandfathered in. They will change the system. We already want to have our claim in before they changed the system. First in line, first in time. You just have to understand that. You signed on not because you wanted to get money, not because somebody promised you money. You signed on because you wanted to make sure somebody heard you. You wanted to make sure somebody paid for the damage that they were doing to you. Although you're supposed to forgive your neighbor, you want to make sure that your neighbor doesn't do it to the next neighbor and the next neighbor and the next neighbor. So that's why you signed on to this lawsuit. And if you signed on for any other reason, that's okay as well. What we're going to do is we're going to make sure that this lawsuit doesn't get ignored the way they want it to be ignored. We've already put the right information. We already said that they didn't have a claim to the property. And if you go back and pay attention, we put the ownership of all property is in the state, and individual so-called ownership is only by virtue of government. That's already in the lawsuit. All of that information is there. So during the lawsuit and during appeal, we will challenge, and this is what all of you need to do, March 9, 1933, challenge that statute as unconstitutional. Don't want to make this video too long, so we're going to go ahead and end it here, but just wanted to let you guys, give you guys an update on the Defrauded Homeowners of America lawsuit. And those of you who have been asking for an update, understand the individuals who signed on to SATPAC 1 and SATPAC 2 with SATCOM. An updated video has been generated letting you know what's going on with that program. Be patient. You'll receive that video within the next 2 days. That will come through your own private email and not on YouTube. So those of you who are associated with SATPAC 1 or SATPAC 2, you'll receive an updated video letting you know where you are in the process. And that will be that. Have a good afternoon, have a good day, have a good time, and we will speak to you guys another time. Goodbye.